narrator for Academic Bowl, Clark Anthony.
And welcome to another edition of Academic Bowl, competition between academic league teams at the San Diego County Schools. It is always exciting. Special thanks to this week's sponsor, the fine folks at Mission Federal Credit Union, strong supporters of the educational institutions here in San Diego, and we thank them for their support. Competition is fairly simple. I ask a toss-up question. It's good for 3 points, can be answered by any member of either team. If it answered incorrectly, however, that team loses a point, and the other team gets a shot at it with no penalty for an incorrect answer. When a team correctly answers a toss-up question, they get a shot at a bonus question, which is good for up to 3 more points, and they have 10 seconds to confer on those answers. The subject areas are English, math, science, history, fine arts, and current events, and as usual, we invite you to play along at home if you like. Let's meet our 2 teams of challengers this week. First of all, representing La Jolla in the San Diego City Schools, Gautam Prabhu, Eric Fagan, Eric Wang, the team captain, Jenny Weiss, and Brian Wolf. Representing Orange Glen High School from the Escondido Union High School District is Tara Castro, Emily Labia, Michael Cuthbert, the captain, Justin Lyon, and Colby Park. And we are ready to begin, so here is the first toss-up question, good for 3 points for either team. Who is known as the father of the Constitution in our country? La Jolla, Brian.
Madison.
James Madison, correct for 3 points. And here is a bonus question for your team for a possible 3 more. According to the periodic table trends, tell what generally happens in each of the following as you go up a group. First, ionization energy, electron affinity, and atomic radius.
One goes up or increases, 2 goes up, and 3 goes down.
Correct. Increases, increases, and decreases. Good for 3 points. And another toss-up for either team. Who composed the opera Das Rheingold? Orange Glen, Michael.
Wagner.
Wagner is correct for 3 points. And your first bonus question of the competition. Name the Shakespearean plays in which the following lines appear. Frailty, thy name is woman. Out of this nettle danger we pluck this flower, safety. He hath eaten me out of house and home.
The last one's Timmy and
Okay, Captain?
We have Macbeth, Hamlet, and The Taming of the Shrew.
First one was actually Hamlet, and the second one, Henry IV, Part 1, and the third was Henry IV, Part 2, so I can't award points on that one. But here's the next toss-up for either team. Name the family who has dominated India's politics since La Jolla. Gotham.
Nehru?
No, Orange Glen. The complete question. Name the family who has dominated India's politics since it became independent. The family name. Michael?
Gandhi.
Gandhi is correct for 3 points. And a bonus question for your team. What three nations signed the Camp David Accord of 1979?
US, Israel, and Egypt. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, we have our answers. We have the United States, Israel, and Egypt.
That's correct for 3 points. And here's the next toss-up question for either team. What condition develops when a human is born with an extra 21st... La Jolla, Eric.
Down syndrome.
Down syndrome, an extra 21st chromosome. That's good for 3 points, and here's a bonus question for your team. Identify the following musical instruments by their English names. Fagot, timpani, clavier.
It's a drum. It's a clarinet, isn't it?
Captain?
We have flute, drum, and harpsichord.
Well, we'll give you 1 point for drums. Kettle drums is actually what we're looking for with timpani. The first one, the fagot, is a bassoon, and the clavier is another name for a piano. So 1 out of 3 anyway on that one. And here's the next toss-up question for either team. Name the Commerce Secretary who was Orange Glen, Michael.
Ron Brown.
Ron Brown, recently cleared of charges he tried to use influence. And another bonus question for your team. Name the 3 American agents sent to France in what is known as the XYZ affair.
What were the names? Tully. Frank, I don't know.
Captain, answers?
We have Talleyrand, Franklin, and Madison.
Correct answer is Charles Pinckney, John Marshall, and Elbridge Gerry was what we're looking for. So no points on that one, and our competition remains rather close as we go to the next toss-up for either team. What American poet wrote The Courtship of Miles Standish? La Jolla, Brian.
Longfellow.
Longfellow is good for 3 points, and a bonus question for your team. To what nation does each of the following airlines belong? Lufthansa, Aeroflot, Qantas.
We have Germany, Russia, and Australia.
Those are all three correct. The names we were looking for 3 more points. And the next toss-up for either team. Who composed Amal and the Night Visitors? Amal and the Night Visitors, composed by Giancarlo Menotti. Next toss-up for either team. Name the first state to adopt the Constitution. Orange, Glen, Michael?
Delaware.
Delaware is good for 3 points. And your next bonus question for 3 more. Give the name of the smallest set of numbers into which each of the following can be placed. 7 halves,
That's rational.
the square root of 7 halves,
That's irrational.
7 halves I.
That's complex. No, pure natural. Smallest. Okay. We have our answers. We have rational, irrational, and pure imaginary.
Rationals, irrationals, correct. Complex was the one we were looking for third, so 2 out of the 3 points on that question. Here's your next toss-up. What is the sum of the interior angles in a decagon? Orange, Glen, Michael.
960.
No, La Jolla. The sum of the interior angles in a decagon is... Jenny?
1,440.
1,444 is the correct answer. I'm sorry, no points on that one, but here's the next toss-up. That's a lot closer than I would have gotten, that's for sure. Next toss-up for either team. How many nations have at one time or another been permanent members of the United Nations Security Council? Orange, Glen, Michael?
5.
No, La Jolla. You want to take a shot at it? Eric?
6.
6 is the correct answer. U.S., USSR, Britain, France, China, and Taiwan. That has earned you another bonus question. Answer the following. What poem begins, "'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre"? You don't have to ring in on this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. What poem begins, "'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe"? Second question, who wrote it and in what novel does this poem appear?
We have Jabberwocky, Lewis Carroll, and Through the Looking Glass.
That is good for 3 more points. Congratulations. And your next toss-up for either team. Who wrote Tortilla Flats? La Jolla, Gotham.
John Steinbeck.
Steinbeck is good for 3 points. And here is another bonus question for your team. Name the 3 candidates who ran against Abraham Lincoln in the election of 1860.
Douglas.
Captain, answers?
We have Douglas, Webster, and Ashburton.
Stephen Douglas is correct. The other were John Bell and John Breckinridge. So 1 out of the 3 points. And the next toss-up for either team. Name the man recently convicted in the 1963 Orange, Glen, Michael?
Beckwith.
Beckwith is correct. Convicted of murdering Medgar Evers. The next bonus question for your team. Tell whether the pH will be above, below, or at 7 when the following acids and bases are combined. Sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid,
That's 7.
sodium hydroxide and acetic acid, ammonia and hydrochloric acid.
Ammonia. Hydrochloric strong, so it'd be below. Okay. We have our answers. We have at 7, above 7, and below 7.
All 3 of those are correct. 3 more points. Our competition continues to be close, and here's the next toss-up. Which Russian politician said, "We will bury you"? Orange, Glen, Michael?
Khrushchev.
Khrushchev is good for 3 points, and here's another bonus question for your team. Identify the following composers as belonging to either the Baroque, the Classical, or the Romantic period. That's 3, so that's more than either. The composers belong to the Baroque, the Classical, or the Romantic period. These are the composers. George Philip Telemann, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, and C.P.E. Bach.
The second one's Baroque. CPE Bach. And we have our answers. We have Baroque, Romantic, and Classical.
Baroque, Romantic, and Classical are correct, and that's 3 more points. Here is our next toss-up question for either team. Who painted I and the Village? I and the Village. Painted by Marc Chagall. What is the name given to the allotrope of oxygen that consists of 3 atoms? La Jolla, Eric.
Ozone.
Ozone is correct. That's for 3 points. And another bonus question for La Jolla. Find the following number of combinations. 6 items taken 3 at a time, 7 items taken 4 at a time, 8 items taken 5 at a time. Captain, your answers, please.
I have 20, I don't know, and I don't know.
Correct answers were 10, 20, and 25, so no points on that, but our competition still is mighty close as we go to the next toss-up for either team. What was the first war the United States declared according to the Constitution? Orange Glen, Michael?
The War of 1812.
1812 is correct. That's good for 3 points. Here's your next bonus question. What nations were ruled by the following families? Lancaster, Bhutto, de Valier.
Okay, first one. Can you repeat the second one?
Second one, Bhutto.
Bhutto, India. We have our answers. We have Great Britain, India, and France.
Okay, England and Great Britain is correct for the first one. Pakistan was the second answer, and Haiti was the de Valier. So 1 out of the 3 points on that one, and here is the next toss-up for either team. What is the probability of one of the first 20 integers being prime? Orange Glen, Michael?
1/2.
No, La Jolla. What is the probability of one of the first 20 integers being prime? Eric?
7 out of 20.
2/5 is what we were looking for as the correct answer. So here's the next toss-up for either team. What is the pen name of Theodore Geisel? Orange Glen, Michael. La Jolla, anybody? What is the pen name? Eric?
Dr. Seuss?
Dr. Seuss is good for 3 points. And your next bonus question. Name the authors of the following Pulitzer Prize-winning novels. Gone with the Wind, The Late George Apley, and The Yearling.
Could you repeat the second one, please?
The late George Apley, or Apley, A-P-L-E-Y. Captain, answers?
We have Mitchell, Robinson, and Rawlings.
Mitchell and Rawlings are correct. John Phillips Marquand was the second name we're looking for. So 2 out of the 3 points. Here's another toss-up for either team. Name the reformer who began a national movement for new methods of treating the mentally ill. La Jolla, Brian?
Dorothea Dix.
Dorothea Dix is close enough. Yes, last name is all that was necessary there. Here's another bonus question for your team. Name the vice president of each of the following United States presidents. John Quincy Adams, James A. Garfield, Gerald Ford.
Ford was John Quincy Adams. Like, he made a deal.
Captain, your answers?
We have Jackson, Arthur, and Rockefeller.
Arthur and Rockefeller are correct. The first one we were looking for was John C. Calhoun. So 2 out of the 3 points are good on that one. We're going to take a quick break, and we stop with the Mission Federal Credit Union scoreboard standing at La Jolla 38 and Orange Glen 29 after a strong run by La Jolla there in the last couple seconds. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to Academic Bowl. It is time to introduce the coaches for the 2 teams. First of all, representing La Jolla is Pat Crowder. Good to have you with us. And the coach for Orange Glen is Pat Bolt. 2 Pats with us on this week's program. Thank you very much. And as you take your places, I can tell you that La Jolla is making no substitutions. We have 2 additions to Orange Glen's team. Amy Kreider is in now and Kang Lee. And we are ready for the next toss-up question for 3 points for either team. Who was crowned the first Holy... Orange Glen, Michael.
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne, the first Holy Roman Emperor in AD 800. Here is the next bonus question. Good for 3 more points. Put the following in order of increasing hardness. Scoring will stop after the first incorrect answer. Quartz, talc, corundum.
Talc is the first. Can you repeat the last one?
Corundum.
Corundum is talc. Quartz. Oh, it is, so it's talc, quartz, corundum. Okay, we have talc, quartz, and corundum.
Those are in the correct order, so that's 3 more points. And the next toss-up for either team. Who is the author of Roots? Orange Glen, Michael?
Alex Haley.
Alex Haley is a 3-pointer for your team. And another bonus question. Give the former name of each of the following countries. Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka was.
What was the last one? Okay, we have Lamouvi for all of them.
Correct answer is Siam, Burma, and Ceylon. So no points on that one, but here's the next toss-up. Which sports structure in Los Angeles? Orange Glen, Michael?
The Coliseum.
Coliseum was damaged in the earthquake. May have to have a big rebuilding project. Here's the next bonus question for your team. Identify the plays in which the following characters appear. Willie Loman, Henry Drummond, Blanche Dubois.
Drummond is our Inherit the Wind. Can you repeat the last one?
Blanche Dubois.
Blah.
Captain, your answers?
Okay, for the first one, we have Death of a Salesman. The second one, we have Inherit the Wind. And for the last one, we have Madame Bovary.
First 2 are correct. The third one was Streetcar Named Desire. So 2 out of the 3 points there, and here is the next toss-up for either team. Give the biology term that means an unspecialized multicellular body. Unspecialized multicellular body. La Jolla, Eric?
A colony?
No? Orange Glen, anyone? Michael?
Bastula.
Thallus was the name we were looking for there. Next toss-up, who was President Nixon's special assistant for national security affairs? Special assistant for national security affairs. Orange Glen, Michael?
George Bush.
No? La Jolla.
Kissinger?
Henry Kissinger is correct, Gotham, and you have a bonus question for your team now. 3 points on that one, and here's another possible 3. Identify the following statements as always, sometimes, or never true. The 3 statements are, all polygons have diagonals. The sum of the interior angles of a polygon is a multiple of 60 degrees. And a quadrilateral has intersecting diagonals. Number 2 is the sum of the interior angles of a polygon is a multiple of 60 degrees. Yep.
We have sometimes true, and always true.
Okay, the first one is correct. It is sometimes true. The second one was always, and the third was sometimes. So we'll give you 1 out of the 3 points on that one, and here is the next toss-up for either team. Whose piano concerto number 21 is often referred to as Elvira Madigan? La Jolla, Brian?
Mozart?
Mozart is good for 3 points. And another bonus question for your team. Answer the following questions about Ethiopia. Which European country conquered it in the 20th century? Who led the conquering nation? And who was the emperor of Ethiopia at the time?
We have Italy, Mussolini, and Haile Selassie.
Those are correct for 3 more points. And another toss-up question for either team. Spell the name of the leader who succeeded Bulganin as Soviet premier in November. La Jolla, Gautam.
Chernomyrdin.
No, Orange Glen. Spell the name of the leader who succeeded Bulganin as Soviet premier in November 1958. Michael?
Khrushchav.
Well, you're going for Khrushchev, but unfortunately not spelled correctly. Khrushchev is the answer. The correct spelling is Khrushchev. So no points on that one for either team. But here's the next toss-up. No spelling in this one. It's math. Convert to base 10 the number 222 base 3. La Jolla, Eric? Need your answer.
26.
26 is correct for 3 points. And the next bonus question for your team. Answer the following questions about journalism at the turn of the century. Who owned the New York World? Who owned the New York Journal? And what term was used to describe this style of lurid and sensational journalism?
We'll go with Pulitzer, Hearst, and yellow journalism.
That's correct. Joseph Pulitzer, William Randolph Hearst, and it was yellow journalism, now known as tabloid TV, basically. And the next toss-up question for either team for 3 points. Mortar fire in the marketplace of which city? Orange Glen, Michael?
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo in Bosnia-Herzegovina killed at least 66 and wounded hundreds in the first part of February. Here is your next bonus question. Name the Shakespearean plays in which the following lines appear. He jests at scars that never felt a wound. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. What piece of work is a man? How noble in reason? How infinite in faculty?
Romeo and Juliet or Julius Caesar or what? That one I've heard, so it's got to be. What? Okay. So,
Captain, what do you have for answers?
we have Much Ado About Nothing for all of them.
The correct answers are Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and Hamlet, so no points on that one. But here is the next toss-up. Who wrote the South Carolina Exposition and Protest? La Jolla, Eric?
Calhoun.
Calhoun, which condemned the tariff of abomination as unconstitutional. That's good for 3 points, and another bonus question for your team. Answer the following questions about the use of the atomic bomb. The use of the atomic bomb in World War II. Who gave the order to use the atomic bombs? On which Japanese city was the first bomb dropped? And on which Japanese city was the second bomb dropped?
We have Truman, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki.
Those are correct in the proper order for 3 more points. And the next toss-up question for either team. What playwright wrote the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Bridge of San Luis Rey? Orange Glen, Michael?
O'Neill.
No, La Jolla, The Bridge of San Luis Rey. Pulitzer Prize-winning novel. Brian?
Steinbeck.
Correct answer, Thornton Wilder, so no points for either team on that one. The next toss-up, who composed the Academic Festival Overture? Academic Festival Overture. Orange Glen, Michael?
Mendelssohn.
No? Anyone at La Jolla? Eric?
Saint-Saëns.
Brahms is the correct answer on that one. Here is the next toss-up. During which war did the United States conduct its first military draft? Orange Glen, Michael?
World War I.
No? La Jolla. Take a shot at it.
World War II.
Pardon me?
World War II.
No, correct answer was the Civil War, all the way back in the Civil War. Next toss-up for either team. Name the U.S. ice dancer who recently announced... La Jolla, Brian?
Tanya Harding.
No. Orange Glen. Name the Justin?
Kerrigan.
No. Correct answer we were looking for. You needed the whole question on this one. We led you astray. The U.S. ice dancer who recently announced that she would go to the Olympics and compete despite the recent murder of her father. Elizabeth Punzelon was the name we were looking for, a bit more obscure than the other two that have been in the news so much recently. The next toss-up for either team. Who was Pope of the Roman Catholic Church during World War II? La Jolla, Eric?
Pope John the 23rd.
No. Orange Glen. Michael?
John Paul II.
Pope Pius XII was the correct answer for that one. The next toss-up for either team. What acid was formerly called oil of vitriol? What acid? La Jolla, Jenny?
Vitrolic acid.
No. Orange Glen, anyone?
Hydrochloric acid.
Sulfuric acid was what the correct answer was on that one. The next toss-up. Who was the second American to win the Nobel Prize for Literature? The second American. Brian? La Jolla?
Hemingway.
No. Orange Glen, anyone? Correct answer,
Eugene O'Neill.
Eugene O'Neill is the correct answer for 3 points. And another bonus question for your team. Identify the following movements of plants by their descriptions. Movement toward the earth.
Geotropism.
Movement toward light.
Photo.
Movement toward a point of contact with another object.
Okay, we have our answers. We have geotropism, phototropism, and somathotropism.
First two are correct. The third one is thigmotropism. So no points on the third one, but you get 2 out of the 3 anyway. And here is the next toss-up for either team. Whose efforts resulted in a treaty giving Americans access to 2 Japanese ports in 1854? Orange Glen, Michael?
Perry.
Matthew Perry. Commodore Matthew Perry is the correct answer. And here is the next bonus question for your team. Name the architects of the following. St. Paul's Cathedral in London, Guggenheim Museum in New York, and the entrance to the Louvre Museum in Paris.
Okay, we'll say, who's the first one? St. Paul's Cathedral. We'll say, who's the architect back then? Let's say Michelangelo. Okay, we have our answers. We have Michelangelo, Wright, and Wren.
Okay, the second answer is correct. That was Frank Lloyd Wright. The first one was Christopher Wren, and the third answer we were looking for was I Am Pei. So 1 out of the 3 points on that, and here's the next toss-up for either team. What is the name given to a sequence whose terms are the reciprocals of terms of an arithmetic sequence? Michael?
Harmonic.
Harmonic is correct for 3 points, and another bonus question. Convert 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, base 2 into the following number bases: base 3, base 5, base 7. Captain, answers?
Okay, for base 5, we have 2, 0, 1. For base 7, we have 1, 0, 2. And for base 3, we have 1, 3. Oh, shoot, forget it.
I'm sorry, correct answers for base 3, it was 2022. For base 5, 222. And for base 7, 116. So no points on that, but here's the next toss-up for either team. Who painted the false mirror? Who painted the false mirror? Correct answer, Rene Magritte. That is the end of our competition, and that gives us final score on the Mission Federal Credit Union scoreboard of a mighty close game. Orange Glen 55, La Jolla 54, and that is a wrap. Congratulations to both of our teams. This is the kind of competition, of course, that goes on around the county throughout the academic league season. If you enjoy watching this on ITV, we hope that you will also go out to a school in your neighborhood, find out when the academic league competition is, and support your various schools. Again, thanks to Mission Federal Credit Union for being our program sponsor this time around. Thanks to our competitors from La Jolla and Orange Glen, and thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next time on ITV.